So, guys, the day has come. Mark Bergevin, Trevor Timmins, and Paul Wilson have been fired from the Montreal Canadiens organization, which marks a new era in the city of Montreal and for the Montreal Canadiens. So, today we're going to be talking about our thoughts on what the Canadiens are going to be doing moving forward, and with the hiring of Jeff Gordon at the helm of the Montreal Canadiens, as he is currently searching for a new general manager.
It's a holiday, the 28th from now on. For me, it's a holiday.
I mean,
Champagne,
Oh my
cake.
God.
But the cake is we don't eat the cake. We basically we make a cake with his face on it, and instead of eating it, we just smash it. That's the celebration. It's gonna be.
I don't know. I feel like you're
amazing.
being a bit harsh.
Yeah, a bit
No,
harsh.
no, no, no.
harsh.
He was
Like
horrible.
he was not horrible.
was
He was actually
horrible.
probably one of the better GMs that we've had.
No.
Who?
no.
Better than Pierre Gauthier, that's for sure.
Yeah.
He was just there to replace temporarily. He wasn't actually.
That
Like,
Okay,
guy is a
fine. The
clown.
point
but
is,
Bob Guiney, I'm sorry, was way better than Mark Bergevin.
the point is this.
100%.
Okay, the point is
Drafting, yeah, I would say,
But that's what counts. It's drafting.
but
It's
trade
drafting.
wise and stuff.
I
don't
think.
really-
I think my personal opinion on Mark Bergevin is I think his time was up,
yeah,
and I
Totally
think his
agree.
time was up.
Time was up 5 years ago.
No, I think his time was up.
now
Maybe
5
2
years
years,
ago.
like 2018 was his time was up. That, in my opinion.
let's be honest here. The last 3 years or 4 years have been his best years compared to the beginning.
The
Yeah,
thing-
because he's got like 14 drafts.
Yeah, but the Suzuki deal, the Philip Danault trade,
But I think in
Okay,
terms
but
of
the
let's-
signings as well. Like
Let's
Mike
be honest though,
Hoffman,
Max
Toffoli.
Pacioretty would still be a player that the Habs need. You sacrificed Max Pacioretty, but you did get Nick Suzuki. I
and
mean,
Thomas
yes,
Tatar.
it was a good deal for the long term for the Habs, but like they needed a player like Pacioretty, and we still do kind of need a player like. Imagine Pacioretty and Suzuki playing together. How crazy that would
Yeah,
be.
but you can't.
you know,
You don't get.
No, I
you
get it,
don't
but-
We
get
capitalized
Suzuki.
on Thomas
I'm
Tatar's
just-
best seasons too.
and didn't move him and wasted him, and now he's just with another
I'm
team.
like, yeah, that's a mistake.
But
mean,
I find you got to look at it from a certain perspective, right? Bergevin came in 2012. When he came in 2012,
he
was a-
inherited a crazy team. It was stacked. You have PK Subban going into his prime.
Yeah.
You have Carey Price playing insane. You have Max Pacioretty. You have Markov. And what did he surround them with? Shit.
Okay. But let me ask you this:
Shit.
I mean,
he
he
was
did-
a rookie
yeah.
GM that came in. He was
What
a
rookie GM? He was GMing the Chicago
No,
Blackhawks
he was
already.
not. He was
the
director of
assistant
player
GM.
personnel. He was director of player personnel. That is not a GM role.
and it didn't help that there was no president. And speaking about presidents, Serge Savard was actually supposed to be nominated as the president when Bergevin got hired. And just because Marc Bergevin was keen on hiring Michel Terrier and Serge Savard wasn't, he got upset and he was like, you know what, screw that. I don't want to be president. And that's why for so many years there's only been a GM and no president.
I personally believe that Montreal, from the moment they hired Marc Bergevin to become GM and president of hockey ops, that's where they made a mistake. Because I think if you look at every other franchise in the NHL, every other franchise, or at least most of the franchises, have a president of hockey ops, and then they have a general manager. And Jeff Molson trusting Marc Bergevin with the opportunity of him doing both, to me, was a little bit of a problem, because it ended up saying that, okay, he really has nobody else to confide in but Jeff
Himself,
Molson, who
yeah.
no
That-
disrespect to Jeff
No
Molson,
hockey knowledge.
but he's not a hockey guy. He's
Yeah.
more of the owner and whatever. So had Marc Bergevin been given an actual president of hockey operations, we may be having a different discussion. But do I agree that he had failures during his tenure? Yes.
Yeah, he
did he
did.
have good success during his tenures too? Yeah. I mean, you can't
He was
discredit
a decent GM.
the
I would
thing
say.
with the he wasn't good, like great, fantastic, but he wasn't
Mediocre
horrible.
at best.
He was
That's
okay.
what we're saying.
He was
He's
decent. And the
Not-
thing
yeah,
the
okay.
thing with Marc Bergevin is you also have to look at his resume, right? And forget about anything. Look at his resume. He made it to a conference final, which would have been a Stanley Cup final had
Yeah, but
Carey
that
Price
wasn't his team.
it was his team.
No, it was mostly built by
Well-
Bob Gainey.
Well, it was his team because he was the GM in 2014. Therefore, it was his team. And the
You
story.
had Thomas Vanek, you
Right?
had Daniel Briere that
No
he
matter
added.
what, the
the
Habs would have made the Stanley Cup final had Carey Price not gotten injured that year, and I strongly believe that. So that would have been a Stanley Cup finals appearance. He ended up not making the conference final anyways.
You
Yeah.
could argue if they had a more solid team that they would have made it with or without him. Though.
Dude, they had Dustin Tokarski, and that's they weren't going anywhere. The
But
point
that's
is,
the
And Peter
problem.
Budaj was a disaster.
the point that I'm trying to make is he still made it to a conference final. The point is he still made it to a Stanley Cup final. Yes, the Stanley Cup final was during a shortened season and with a Canadian division and a whole pandemic, but he still made a Stanley Cup final.
Let's
And
be
the
honest
point-
here. As a GM, we've failed to make the playoffs more than we have actually made the playoffs.
which that he deserves the criticism for that 100%, especially since when he came in 2012, his perception was I'm gonna win a Stanley Cup, and it took him 9 years to get to the Stanley Cup final. But that I completely
and
agree
didn't
with.
win.
But some GMs don't even get there.
But
you
the
know?
point that I'm trying to make is, I thought that he had some ups and some downs, and every GM has some up. But to say that he's the worst GM or a horrible GM, like he said, he was ranked 18th in the NHL in terms of his record for as a GM for the tenure, which is mediocre.
Yeah.
So he was at best mediocre, like Pizzuto said. And the thing is that you have to respect the moves that he made, a lot of the moves that he made, because he did genuinely care about the Canadians, and I think he was super passionate about the job. And I always liked Marc Bergevin. I always thought
He's a good guy. He cares about the players.
I always thought he did an okay job, and I always thought that he cared about the team, and I always enjoyed listening to his press conferences and whatever. The fact of the matter is, his time was up 2 years ago. 3 years ago, 2018, I think was when he should have been gone. The year that they were horrible. The year before they drafted Kotkaniemi.
He did a lot of good things after that too.
To me, the Kotkaniemi year,
It's
year that
debatable.
Kotkaniemi was drafted, was the year that Marc
Lot of bad
Bergevin should have been
contracts.
gone. That was for me.
Last year's offseason was arguably his best offseason, adding Toffoli, Corey Perry.
I disagree. I think it was the year before that.
Oh yeah.
Jake Allen and Joel Edmondson. And I'm going to tell you why I believe it was the year before that. And this year it wasn't a great offseason because the offseason moves that he's made this year.
That's what I'm talking about. Last year.
I
Not
thought
this
you-
year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Last
So
year,
Edmondson and Allen.
Edmondson,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Toffoli.
My bad.
Yeah.
Getting Anderson, yeah.
That was his best offseason.
Yeah, but there's a pattern with him, right? So whenever something great happens, there's catastrophe coming at the end.
Let's be honest.
I don't know about catastrophe.
No,
Every single time.
I'll
Every
say
time
one-
there's a good
I'll
move,
say
there's
one
always
thing.
shit that
As a
follows.
GM, looking at his tenure
Are we
now,
talking about the Habs or are we talking about Vancouver? Because we're talking about Vancouver. Then
I'm talking about the Habs.
look at his tenure as GM and how and the way he left. He didn't make a move that jeopardized the franchise for the next 10 years. He hasn't. He hasn't. He hasn't.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one.
That's debatable.
He hasn't done anything.
He's jeopardized our
critical.
franchise since he got there by not drafting anyone good and
The
not
drafting,
developing
yes.
The drafting
yes.
That's a big part of
the
hockey.
drafting isn't only on him. It's
The
on Trevor
drafting
Timmins too,
is
which is why they fired him.
horrible.
Yeah, that's why they fired Trevor Timmins.
Yeah, but you gotta give Trevor Timmins some credit too, though. He has drafted Carey Price, Subban, and Pacioretty.
Yeah, and then
other
who else did he draft?
solid
He drafted
guys.
Louis Leblanc. He drafted Michael McCarron. He drafted
Yeah,
Nikita
but let's
Sherbak.
be honest. Louis
Yeah.
LeBlanc, do you really think
Noah
Trevor
Jolson.
Timmins made that call? Or do you really think, oh, we're going to draft a French guy in Montreal in the first round?
Doesn't matter. The point is he
I
drafted.
doubt
him.
he made that call.
Who drafted Logan Mailloux?
He's
Trevor
a good
Timmins.
player, though.
Yeah, he also he also got himself into a lot of shit.
Yeah,
And
but
there
you
was
could
a lot
argue
of-
Evander Kane gets himself in a lot
Yeah,
of shit
but
too, and look how many
fine,
chances the guy
Fine,
got.
but the
And
point
he's like 30 years
yeah,
old.
but
This kid's 17.
the point that I'm trying to make is that you're coming here saying, well, Marc Bergevin did this. The point is that here's the thing.
Marc
Sure.
Bergevin, didn't
Marc
even know.
Bergevin was the worst GM the Habs have ever had. You're right.
Not the worst,
Congratulations.
but one of the worst.
no.
Yeah, one of the
No.
worst. One of the worst.
Okay.
One of the worst. I
Alright.
really did not like him at all.
Yeah.
The
You didn't like
GM
him
in-
because he was
the
French.
GM in the
That's what you didn't
90s
like.
No, it's
that
not
destroyed
true.
the team when they traded Patrick Roy was arguably the worst GM.
Rajaul.
Yeah.
That's who-
Yeah, but the guy
He's-
wanted
he's
to
the-
leave though. That's because of the coach, though. It's not. You can't.
They were both idiots, the coach and the GM.
Mario Tremblay and Rajaul.
I get it, but he left because of the coach, and then with the when a
Yeah, but
player
come on,
player
He left
decides
because of both.
when a player decides to leave a franchise like Jack Eichel, you're gonna get garbage for him, dude.
I mean, look what they got for Jack Eichel. I don't call that garbage at all. I
Yeah,
think that's
but
a pretty good deal.
I get it, but back in the day, who would have given them a player like that for?
I mean, it
Patrick
is
Roy,
Patrick
for a
Roy.
goalie.
I mean, as a GM, if that's what you're gonna get in return, come on. That's
I
pathetic.
just think we're not. I feel like we're just we're not. He's more bashing Bergevin. I'm
It's
kind
not
of
bashing.
I'm
It's a
kind of
fact. When
We're,
you're
we're both in
drafting,
the middle. with
when
that.
you
I'm kind of
draft-
just like
when you
I
draft
have-
75 players and only 2 or 3
yeah,
are
but Trevor
currently on the
Timmins
team.
is part of that.
Yes, the drafting is horrible. We know
Okay,
that.
but Mark Bergevin plays a big role in that. At
But
the
let's
end of
be
the day, who
honest
calls
here.
the shots?
When it comes to most of his traits, he's a good negotiator.
Yes, but you can't say, "Oh, Mark
I don't
Bergevin is the
know.
reason the Habs
That Dwayne
drafting was
Sergachev
fit."
trade sounds good too.
But anyone could do that. Anyone could go
mean,
look at his worst trade and shit on it.
No,
making
but that's
it
not
seem
even
like
his
that- you're
worst
make-
trade,
I'll be honest with you. You're making it seem like that's the worst trade in NHL history, and it's not.
I didn't
Like,
say it's the worst.
Taylor Hall for Adam Larson was
but
worse at the
but
time.
that it's bad for a franchise. We need a defenseman like that.
Yeah,
Getting
Yeah, we need a
getting so-
defenseman. We need a defenseman like that. We have 3 on our roster that play 10 minutes a night, but being coached by Dominic Ducharme.
Norlinder, Romanov.
No offense.
And who's
But
the other one?
you're Sami Niku.
Yeah.
And no offense to sometimes Chris Weidman, but the point that I'm trying to make is, fine.
you could have been patient. You could have waited 1 year and
yeah,
signed them the year
and
after.
then Sergachev would have been ruined. You know why Sergachev would have been ruined? And don't get me wrong, Drouin was ruined here no matter what. But the point that I'm trying to make is Sergachev would have been ruined. Why? Because the coaching staff that we had, the coaches that we had.
Yeah, but you can't say that for sure.
Yeah, you can.
You can't.
Bro, I've watched enough Habs games to tell you that every single coach that the Habs have had, they complain about not having a puck-moving defenseman, and then when they have puck-moving defensemen, they don't play them.
The only
Victor
the,
Mete,
the only
they
time
benched him. Norlinder, they benched him. Weidman, they benched
But
him.
that goes into
He-
play too. He hires crap coaches.
But this is what I'm trying
Dominic
to tell
Ducharme,
you.
is that a smart
the
move?
only
Hiring
good
him and letting
the only
Joel
good
Bouchard rot in the
hiring there
AHL?
was
Joel Bouchard hasn't done anything to warrant an NHL job, in my opinion.
And Dominic
Uh,
Ducharme has.
I mean, he did establish
No, he
Jake
didn't.
Evans as an
Yeah,
NHL
you're
player.
right. Fine. But
And I think he got Ryan Paling's game on track. And
yeah,
it's not
but
his
here's-
fault that he
here's what
didn't
I'm
get
trying to
called
say.
up.
Here's what I'm trying to say. Do I think at the time when Dom Ducharme got hired, I thought it was a good move, and the reason why I thought it was a good move is because he won at every level that he was at. Right? He won at the junior level. He won a gold medal.
And people were really happy
and
when he
people
got
were
hired.
super happy about
Yeah.
Dom Ducharme being hired. And I
don't
trusted
like
the
him.
process. And to be honest, on his resume, he's got a better resume than Joel Bouchard.
His coaching style does not fit the team that we have.
Yeah, now he's shit. But you
Because
gotta
the
look
player,
back
but you have to
then.
also admit that some of it has to do with the players that he's given.
The players that he's given are supposed to be scoring, but he's playing.
Yeah.
He's playing the same. It's the
Good.
same. It's the same strategies as all the other coaches. I doubt that he's changed anything. They keep playing dump and chase, regardless of which coach they
The
change.
Canadians
always the same
need
shit.
a coach that's going to implement the structure that's going to be there for years to come, that people are going to buy into, like Barry Trotz has done with the New York Islanders and what he did with the Washington Capitals. And if if Montreal does not do that, then there will always be failures in establishing a structure.
And that's not Trevor Timmins that decides the coach.
No,
Stack
you're
that.
right, but you can't.
Everything is wrong with the
but
team right
you're-
now, and that's why they need
the
a
point that I'm
they
trying
need
to
a
make
fresh
is-
look.
Here's what I'm trying to make. Okay, so you've got Marc Bergevin. He comes in, right? He brings Michel Therrien with him when he gets.
First of
when-
all, why hire back a guy that didn't work the first time? That's my
But
thought
because
process.
the whole point of it is that you know now he went different this year. He fired Giuliani and ended up going with Dom Ducharme, who was a rookie coach in the NHL because he hadn't coached the NHL. Whatever. The
Every
point
coach
that I'm-
has failed under
every coach
under
is
him.
well, not really. Not really. I'm gonna
He's
tell
been
you,
through-
Michel Therrien didn't fail. I think Michel Therrien, in terms of the Bergevin era, you might disagree with me on this. He was the best coach in the Bergevin era,
Yeah,
and
he
it's still,
was.
and that says a lot because he wasn't even that good. But he was the best coach we had in the Bergevin era.
He was.
Claude Julien,
He was given a shit team.
I think Claude Julien is a great coach.
And it
I
should have
also
worked
think-
with him.
I also think that the players that he was given, but also just the fact that his coaching style doesn't really work in modern day NHL anymore.
Sitting on Mike Babcock.
Yes, I think he needed to adjust his coaching style and didn't. Dom Ducharme, the problem that I have with him now
There's
is
no emotion.
It's the same thing.
it's not that. It's
It's the
just I feel
same
like
thing.
he's taking Julien's style and he hasn't really changed much. He's kind of made it worse, in my opinion.
And not only that,
But
like
that has nothing to do. I think Bergevin's made some bad moves in terms of coaches and whatever. But you have to, as much as there's the negative, there's a lot of positives there too, right?
I
Brought in
mean-
Philip Dano,
Yeah.
traded for Nick Suzuki. You know, drafted Cole Caulfield, drafted Caden Gooley, drafted all these prospects that look really good that are coming up.
but what I'm
Norlinder.
saying is when you have when you have just a talent that's been passed over, no shit you're gonna take him. That's what I'm
What do you mean,
saying.
for talent that was passed over? What are you talking about?
Cole Caulfield's supposed to go in the top 10. Let's be honest here.
Okay, well, he fell to
And he's been
15.
passed over so much because of his size.
Yeah.
Okay, but when you have a talent like that, why would you not draft him? That's what I'm saying. It's a no-brainer that he drafted him.
Well,
Anybody would have
not
drafted
really.
him.
Well, no, because it was a no-brainer that Brady Tkachuk was supposed to go third overall to the Habs, and he didn't. It was a no-brainer.
That's a
that-
bad move.
But
That's
there
a
you go.
horrible
But
move.
you can't say, "Oh, nobody's stupid enough to do it." No, the Habs did.
The Habs should have.
Logan,
The Habs, if
The Habs drafted a
Here's-
guy who
here's what-
literally said,
here's
"Hey,
why-
I don't want to be drafted."
here's why I think it's a stupid. Here's
Come
here's
on.
why I think it's a stupid move that they got Kotkaniemi. Not that they grabbed Kotkaniemi. I don't have a problem with them drafting him. I have a problem with drafting him at third overall. They could have traded down, gotten more pieces,
Yeah.
more picks, and picked him.
That I
anyways.
agree.
Why wouldn't they do that?
That I agree. Well, I don't know, but
That's
the thing-
common sense.
Yeah, but that's
Why
Trevor.
would you not do
that's
that?
Trevor Timmins
That's
and
not
Mark
Trevor. That's not Trevor Timmins. That's Mark Bergevin.
But
calls
like
the
we
shots at the end
discussed
of
in
the
the
day.
last
Okay, you're
podcast,
right.
why the Montreal
That's-
Canadiens are
Listen,
so
he's
bad.
the boss, right?
Okay,
You're right. No, you're right.
they
I'm not
always
gonna debate you on it,
drafted
you're right.
based on need
I'm just gonna-
opposed to talent, and that's a problem. But even when you have guys like Cole Caulfield in the system, Matthias Norlinder, Yolonen, and Paling, and all these names that are supposed to be great talents,
Josh
top six
Brooks. Like,
forwards.
what happened to that guy?
He's injured.
Well,
He's
before,
been injured for
They have
6 months.
Jaden
Okay.
Struble as well. They have Caden Primo. If you have so much talent, and Montreal was like named like top 10 in prospect, having a good prospect pool.
They still are.
Okay, perfect. So if most of those guys cannot pan out, there's a fucking problem.
Yeah, but
There's a problem with the development. And right now,
Yeah,
the fact
that I agree.
that Cole Caulfield is
agree.
not doing what Cole Caulfield's supposed to be doing, that's a fucking problem too. Like, this is a problem. You look at how he played in the playoffs, and now you look at him now, two different players. And right now, if something is not done with the coaching staff, this kid is going to be ruined. And there goes another top talent that was supposed to be great, like
Scoring
Alex
goals.
Galchenyuk, okay, that was minimized and diminished to a stupid role on the team, and that was never maximized on and capitalized
and
on
here's
his talent.
here's another thing that I gotta say about the
I
coaching
mean, his
too.
best seasons were
Okay.
Montreal, but anyways.
He hires guys I find that are all similar. To me, Claude Julien, Michel Therrien, Duchamp, to me, they're all the same.
Nah,
all the
Terry had a different style. Compared
They
to
all do the
Julien.
same stuff. They always bounce around players. Why is Toffoli playing third? The next night he's playing first. Then he plays fourth. Then he goes back to first and second, third.
Teddy,
Why is it that every
Ter-
team has an established first and second, and sometimes a third and fourth switch?
What I liked about Terrier, the biggest thing that I liked about Terrier, why Bergevin bringing him in, why I liked him is because Terrier was the only one that had emotion. Like if your team sucked at the night, he would literally say your team sucked, like my team sucked, that they were shit. Right? Duchamp's gonna go there. Ah ouais, tu sais, on a alloué 6 buts, mais je pense que Toffoli, il a fait 2 tirs ce soir. C'était parfait.
like he's naming like fantasy like stats, like
Bro,
you know what
The
the
guy
hell?
just yesterday, and I know that we're supposed to be talking about Bergevin, but just yesterday, okay, Ryan Paling scores a goal. You don't see him on the ice to start the second period for 5 minutes. Why? Because you have to go. And no offense, I'm a big Brendan Gallagher fan. Okay, Gallagher gives the puck away. Okay, nothing happens. Anderson gives the puck away that leads
See,
to a goal.
and
Nothing happens.
that's an-
Cole Caulfield gives the puck away, bench for the entire second period.
That's
Like,
another
why?
thing I want to talk about.
You need
Is
to give
I find
rookies time
one
and
of
space to
one of the
develop.
biggest mistakes besides the drafting and developing
Oh,
that
here
Mark
we go.
Bergevin does
Here we
is
go.
contracts. The contracts are horrendous. Let's first of all, Carl Osner.
Yeah, that
horrible.
one was
Okay,
bad.
that's
Savard
bad.
is looking like Carl Osner so far.
That I agree.
Yeah, that's
looking
bad
very
too.
bad. Paquette, useless.
That was league minimum,
useless,
so whatever.
but
Yeah,
it's
League min-
useless.
it's
Why
Yeah, but
pick
it's
him up?
but
Why
it's league-
waste? Why waste a roster spot
But
instead of
it's still
having a
league
young
minimum.
kid?
It's not
go?
a bad contract because it's league minimum.
Like,
So who gives a fuck?
I'll be
Okay,
honest with
what
you.
would you rather have, Paling or Paquette?
But that doesn't matter.
Paling or Paquette?
Paling, but that
So
has nothing to do with anything.
why waste 750,000 and why waste the roster spot for what? For what reason?
Well, they should put him on waivers. That I agree. But
No one's gonna pick him up.
That's why. So send him to Laval.
I'd
But
rather
it's
have-
not a
I'd
bad thing
rather
to have him in Laval.
Brooks still on
He's
the
taking
team.
young
Then
players to minutes.
Yes,
as
but
well.
that has
Then
nothing.
fucking
But what I'm trying
Paquette.
to say is, if you sign Paquette, if you put him in the AHL, it doesn't matter. Like, who gives a shit?
Anyways,
It's
so
league
there's-
minimum. So
there's
it's not
that.
a bad contract.
You got Carey Price's contract. Does he deserve it? He does. Should he get
Yes.
paid that much for a goaltender? Absolutely.
You have to-
not.
you have to look at-
just based on Carey Price himself and the playoff performances. Yes, he
You have-
should.
Yeah, but it's not normal that you have $15 million
Vasilevsky makes
on
$10
But you
million.
have to
goalies.
understand, Gallagher's
12 million.
contract and Price's contract is not based on what they're going to be doing moving forward. It's based on what they did in the past.
Yeah, but that's not how it works in hockey.
I know, but that's
Gallagher's
how it was
contract
structured.
is already looking bad now. In 2-3 years from now, Gallagher, if he doesn't retire like early, like we're screwed because the way he plays, you can't play at that at when you reach in your 30s. He's playing a very aggressive game. He's playing like Andrew Shaw kind
There's
of.
a lot of hand injuries.
You know,
Yeah,
he's
but
always in front of the net. A player like that, his size
I
and his
agree.
style,
I
they
agree.
retire young. And a
He
six
gets around the $60 million to play on the third line.
third line, that's not
I
good.
agree.
It's not
that
good.
Gallagher's contract doesn't look great, but like Chris said, they paid him for what, and I'm not saying it's the right way to do it. I'm not. All I'm saying is the Carey Price contract was given to him because of what he did. Brendan Gallagher was given
get
to him for
that.
what he did. Jeff Petrie was given to him because of what he did. Because let's be honest, bro, if you want to talk about the worst contract on the team right now, it's Jeff Petrie, and I'm being dead fucking serious. Bro, the
And-
guy gets paid $6.5 million, and no offense, he looks like a pylon on the ice right now. He looks like somewhat, bro. He legitimately looks like a guy who belongs in the AHL. I'm
Chris
sorry.
Weidman has more
And-
points.
I'm
than him.
sorry. It's actually embarrassing. Like I
And-
don't want to be mean to Jeff Petrie, but
Not
it's
that,
the
not that
truth.
Carey Price he is overpaid. Carey Price, I'm going to be honest.
He is.
But
Well,
if his contract
How
was
many games has he played since he signed that contract? Think about that.
Yeah, but that.
but that's injuries.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
that's
how
not
many?
his
And how
fault.
much?
But-
And who single-handedly took us to the Stanley Cup Finals?
He
Yeah.
did. But but I would
You
have been
pay your best
happier.
players for doing that.
I would have been happier with 9 because he has to understand too that if we're spending all the money on him, how much money can we spend on goals? It's good to spend money on stopping goals, but you need to spend money
Okay,
on
but
scoring
look at the
goals.
Edmonton Oilers. They invested all their money on 2 players.
Okay, but let me ask you this.
Yeah, but those 2 players are franchise scoring players.
Okay, but let me
you
ask
could
you this.
argue that you can make an argument that you don't really need a goalie to win, technically.
Let me ask you this.
I mean, that's what's cost them in the playoffs. Bad
What-
defense and bad
Because let's be
goaltending.
honest, Tampa Bay, even if they didn't have Vasilevsky, they would still win.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
Can I ask you something?
They would.
What
I
are
don't
what are
really
the
know
Montreal
about that.
Canadiens without Carey Price?
What?
What are the Montreal Canadiens without Carey Price?
Nothing.
Nada.
None.
I know.
End of story.
I get that, but
None.
$10.5 million.
Yes, for a guy who, without him, you guys are not a relevant team at all. But you're seeing it
I'm
this
just
year.
saying it's no, but like you got to think, why not give him a bridge contract and then pay him a bit more?
Why would you give him a bridge contract? He already proved himself.
Yeah, and he was
What more does he need to
He
prove?
was like what 28.
He won the Hart Trophy. He won the Hart Trophy, the Vezina Trophy, and like basically pretty much every trophy.
already injury prone, dude, and you're signing
But it
him on
doesn't matter.
on
You
a-
don't pay him.
and you're gonna be paying him until he's 40.
Yeah, but that's
So
the
eventually,
point is. They paid
eventually,
him.
the ideal thing would be that Primo takes over if he develops property,
Carey Price is not going to retire the Montreal Canadiens.
and
He
then
will- he will
and
retire with the
No, he
Montreal
won't.
Canadiens.
Yes,
and then you'll have supposedly a backup goalie worth $10.5 million.
He will because
That's the idea
He'll be
they were
traded
going into.
beforehand.
he will, and I'm gonna tell you why he will.
I think he should
Because
get traded
if you're Carey Price,
to do him a favor
yeah, but okay,
and winning a cup
Yeah,
because he won't
yeah,
win one here.
Carey Price will not be leaving the Montreal Canadiens. I'll tell you this right now, and I'm gonna tell you why. I agree that they should trade him. Here's the thing: number one, no team is gonna take Carey Price's contract. Number one.
Well,
Number
you're gonna have
two,
to eat up salary.
yeah.
that's for
Number two,
sure.
Montreal's not gonna want to do that. And even if they rebuild, the thing is this: at that point, you might as well just keep the guy because he's still good enough to play in the NHL and he's still good enough to help your team out, even if you're going for a rebuild, whatever. The other thing is that Carey Price has a no move clause. Okay, you have to ask the guy to waive the no move clause. The only other team that he's going to want to go to is Seattle. And who got exposed at the expansion draft at Seattle? Carey Price. Did Seattle take him? No, they could have had him for free and they didn't. So why is Seattle going to go and pay assets?
Yeah, but they didn't get him. They didn't take him because one, the contract, and two was also the injury factor.
Yes.
And honest, I don't want to
still.
speculate, but they didn't take him, and then all of a sudden he doesn't start the season because he goes into the player assistant program. I'm pretty sure they knew something about that.
They did.
I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe it's fish.
They had their suspicions, but nobody
the
knew about
suspicions
it.
are right.
For the last segment of our
you're right,
episode, I want to move on
I
and
don't know.
talk about the hiring of Jeff Gordon and what he's going to be doing moving forward for the Montreal Canadiens and the potential candidates for to become
new
the next GM of the Montreal Canadiens.
Well, Jeff Gordon. I mean, listen, he built the ruins basically in the Rangers. So
Yeah.
if he does that here,
I mean, he's the best executive that they could have gotten for this position. He's the best guy available, which is exactly what a lot of Habs fans have been wanting.
Yeah, it's not something they do often.
He's not
so.
some nobody, and that's exactly what
He's
the-
highly
right.
respected
He's highly
in the
respected inside.
NHL.
He's gonna come in and help this team out, and I do believe that his
I'm
vision.
very happy with this.
Right, I do
hire.
believe that
Yeah,
his
yeah.
And he's
vision
here
and
for
his
long
thing.
term, by the way.
Yeah,
How many years?
They didn't say this is a long term.
I do believe that his vision and everything that happens, I think he's going to be a big part of that. The thing is that if people are expecting change, like if people are expecting the Habs to just blow it up all in one shot, like right away,
No.
I don't know how long that's going to take. I think right now he's going to come in. They're going to get a GM. I think they're going to go through the trade deadline like normal people would, right? They're going to sell off assets if they need to sell off assets, whatever.
Yeah.
And once the draft comes and once the offseason comes, that's when I think we're going to start seeing the big moves.
I'm very excited.
I don't know
to be
how many.
honest.
I don't know
really
because
excited.
people were talking about, oh, Jeff Gordon's going to come in and he's going to like clean house. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
I
I think he's going to come in and
I
and
want him to do
establish-
whatever he has to do. I trust him 100%.
I think
I
I
don't
think
know.
I
We'll
think
see.
I think the people that are gonna be moving, since he's gonna be, I don't know when they're gonna hire this GM. I don't know if it's gonna happen in the next.
They're
couple
not
of
firing
weeks.
Ducharme until the end of the season. That
I
I'm
don't
telling
think.
you that right now.
Yeah, that guy's probably gonna be gone by the end of the season, or
they
who
want
knows,
him
maybe.
to be there because he's gonna single-handedly get us
If
to
you're
a
rebuilding-
bottom.
I think
If you're
spot in the
rebuilding,
standings.
the best thing to do is to have him there.
I think the guys that
Gonna
are
get a
gonna
top
the,
pick
the
if he's still
the
coach.
players anyways that are gonna be out are gonna be 100% Tyler Toffoli. I think they're gonna get traded at the trade deadline, 100%.
Okay.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Hoffman leaves too.
Sherrod.
Sherrod,
Sherrod's like that guarantee.
Sherrod is
Yeah.
guaranteed.
Sherrod is a
Sherrod.
guarantee, and I think Jake Allen's a guarantee too.
Yeah, I think Jake Allen as well.
So they're gonna
And not because they want to trade him, but because you're actually going to get something for him because he's playing
Yeah.
well and the Habs are shit.
Yeah.
And that's not because of him.
There's gonna be a
you
lot
could
of names
you
being
can you
moved.
Petrie.
No.
I mean,
No.
listen.
I don't
What
think
if he
so.
picks it up? You know,
No.
we could.
They're not going to trade Petrie. They're not going to trade Petrie, and if
Yes.
they do, they're going to lose out. That's the other thing that people have to realize. What fans are asking for, like if Montreal decides we're going to go full on rebuild, okay? Now full on rebuild means they're going to get rid of a bunch of guys. They're going to play the young guys, so Suzuki, Caulfield, whatever, right? Which is fine, which is great. That's exactly what I think a lot of people want. The thing is that Jeff Petrie, you're not going to get right at this very moment. The Jeff Petrie that's playing right now, you're going to lose that trade. Brendan Gallagher, you're going to lose that trade. Carey Price, you're going to lose that trade.
Well, listen,
I'm
Brendan
not saying
Gallagher.
it's
No
about-
matter when you trade him, it's
But the point that I'm trying to make is I'm not saying winning trades is important, but you're not going to get enough assets for them that warrants you to trade them, right? Even if you retain salary, like no disrespect, but Jeff Petrie right now is worth jack shit because he's playing like shit. Brendan Gallagher actually has some value because every team in the NHL
well, you
wants
could
a
also
guy.
argue Petrie's playing with like. Well, besides when he plays with
Dude,
Romanov, he plays.
I'll be honest
Mm.
with you, bro. I don't want to be mean, but
Isn't his partner
He-
Edmondson?
yeah, he needs Edmondson more than
Yeah.
Edmondson needs him, which says a lot.
Yeah.
If Jeff Petrie's main problem is that Joel Edmondson isn't there, there's a problem. Because Joel Edmondson, I love him. I think he's a great defenseman. Guy isn't elite by any stretch. He's a good defenseman, but he's nothing
Look,
elite.
I think Jeff
So-
Gordon, he's gonna once he's here, he's gonna address the media on Friday. He's gonna be in town Wednesday, and
So tomorrow.
yeah, and I think Molson is not opposed to the idea of a rebuild, and this guy has like helped the Boston Bruins acquire guys like Kessel through the draft, Patrice Bergeron, Marchand, and
And
you look at the-
Marchand and Bergeron the same year.
and in the Rangers, he convinced Panarin to sign a long-term
It's true.
deal with a rebuilding New York Rangers. He traded for Zibanejad.
Adam Fox.
He convinced Adam Fox to come.
Well, he didn't need convincing. He wanted to play in New York.
Yeah, but I mean, those moves are
Yeah,
significant
but still,
moves.
he basically got a Norris
Like
Trophy.
I
winner
remember
for free.
when I looked at his track record and I heard this is the guy that's going to be in.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need
he's
this
gonna
guy.
he's gonna be in charge of everything moving forward. Like, let's go, man. It's time.
Yeah.
It's time to pick up where we are right now and blow everything up and start making changes. It's time to start finding people that are gonna properly scout to good players, and we're gonna have an impact moving forward on the Montreal Canadiens lineup.
But here's what I like about it: is they finally hired someone based on talent and based on what we need and who's best suitable.
They found the loophole.
Not because what's the loophole?
The loophole is that they hired Jeff Gordon to be executive of hockey operations. They're going to get a French GM. They're going to make him do all the press releases. But Jeff Gordon's essentially going to have the final
It's the
say.
puppet master and the puppet, basically.
But
Jeff Gordon is it's basically
however
Jeff
you-
Gordon's team, but with a French GM. That's
however you
legit
want to
how I see
however
it.
you want to put it, at least they hired someone who is qualified and not based on just language and discrimination.
What do you think
that
the
suitable for the job?
what do you think the candidates are? Martin Brodeur, Daniel Briere, Mathew Darche, Patrick Roy. What do you think?
So
Because
far,
these guys are not proven people.
Brothers, forget
Brother,
Brother, forget Patrick Watt. It's not happening.
Patrick Roy,
And
honestly,
It's not gonna happen.
Roberto Luongo.
I'm telling you now, it's not gonna
I'm
happen.
gonna be honest about Patrick Roy.
Not
As
gonna
a
happen.
GM, I really hope not, because that guy has zero filter and he's the type of guy that Nick Suzuki, he's not playing too good. I'm gonna trade him. He's got a temper.
He's the type of
snaps.
guy that's gonna come in and just trade every fucking player
Yeah.
on the team.
I don't
just
want that.
with no
He's
reason
like mentally
whatsoever.
unbalanced.
As a coach, I would love to see that.
Yeah, as a coach, I
Yeah.
could see it.
As
As a
I
coach,
think
yeah.
I think he's
As a
someone we
GM,
need as
yeah.
a coach.
You need someone with heart and like someone that's willing to
Because he didn't do
get the
too bad
best
with
out of his
Colorado.
players.
He did well with Colorado.
but
the few
he
years
no,
was there.
yeah.
They went to the playoffs every year.
I think he was
Not
The
every
mentally
minute
year.
he left, every year.
He
he was,
The
He
minute
he was mentally burnt
Thank
out. That's why he left. Not because
No,
he
he
had
left
problems with
because
Really
Joe
help out
Sakic.
and stuff.
He
Joe
left
Sakic,
because
yeah,
Joe
you know.
Sakic didn't give him he felt like Joe Sakic wasn't listening to his ideas. Anyways, that's just Patrick.
He's very
Waugh being-
opinionated. this
Yeah,
guy,
that's
you know?
just Patrick Waugh being a drama queen. But anyways, the thing that I see is this: the candidates that are coming in for French GM, I think Danny Briere is the best option.
No.
Personally, you're just gonna say no, but no disrespect.
no,
you don't even know
no.
what he's doing
I
right now, so
prefer
it's fine.
I prefer Mathew Darche
Why? Because he was on Tampa.
over Daniel Briere. No, not because he was on Tampa.
Okay,
For
what
me,
does
it's
what does
Roberto
Mathew Darche
Luongo.
do, by the way? Just curious.
Well, for one, he has a degree from a university,
Okay,
unlike Daniel Briere.
he actually does. He's studying in business. He's studying in business administration.
Right now,
I want Roberto
Well,
Luongo.
he's in university
he's
while
in
being,
university
while
while
being-
working.
while
Why-
being-
why not get a guy who already is qualified?
because
right
he has
now?
okay. So what? So because
Not that I don't like. It's not a listen.
it
I
has
don't-
nothing to do with him being
It's-
qualified or not qualified. If
Daniel
you
Briere
have a
would
good
be
hockey
funny.
mind,
I'm
you're
just
good
saying,
enough.
I would prefer Mathew Darche. Like I don't know.
Okay.
It's funny though because
But
we've seen
my-
Daniel
my
Briere play on the
personal-
Habs instead of Mathew Darche.
My personal
They need a guy who's pushing them,
favorite
though.
to be a GM would be Roberto Luongo.
It's not gonna happen.
I would love that.
He
would
speaks French.
I would love it too, but it's not gonna happen.
He speaks French.
I like his
He-
character too.
He was one of arguably the first goalie to be captain. So that says a lot.
Yeah.
Right? He's got leadership.
He's not afraid.
I think he's pretty respectable all over the league, and I think players look up to him.
Yeah, but think about it.
So
Think about it. Think about
let's
it.
be
I'm
honest.
gonna,
like, who
yeah.
looks up
Wait,
to
wait,
Daniel
wait.
Yeah,
Briere?
but
he's
that's
not
not the point.
he's
The
not
point
af-
is this.
He's not afraid
Nobody
to
looks up
say
to Mark
things
Bergevin
how
either.
they are.
But
you know,
The
and I
point,
like that.
the point that I'm
No,
trying to
that's a
make is,
problem.
if you're Roberto Luongo, okay, now this is just based on things that I've seen from Roberto Luongo. The guy went to Florida, living his best life in Florida. He's assistant GM in Florida. He's assistant GM of the Team Canada Olympic team. You know, he's living in Florida with his wife, his kids. He's super
He's
happy with
building
it.
up a good resume.
Why the
in my
hell
opinion.
With Roberto Luongo in a situation where in Florida there's no media and nobody has to bother him, why would he decide, yeah, you know what, I'm going to go and be in arguably the craziest city when it comes to hockey and go and deal with the media 24/7?
Because it's
You
home.
could say that about anybody.
It's
You'd
home.
Even,
It's home, but it's
It's
not
home.
home.
you could say that
It
about
is
When was the
home.
any
last-
single
okay.
candidate, though.
No, you can't.
Yes,
No,
you
you can't.
can.
I'm going to tell you why. Roberto Luongo hasn't been in Montreal since he was a teenager. Okay? He played his whole career in Vancouver, and then he played a few seasons in Florida. Okay? And he was drafted by the Islanders. But the point that I'm trying to make is he hasn't been in Montreal enough for him to even be considered as an opportunity for him to be the GM. What I mean by that is this, okay? Roberto Luongo is not going to leave his spot in Florida where nobody bothers him and he's living his best life to come and be the GM of the Canadiens. It's not going to happen, okay? And you could say, oh, he's a Montrealer. Yeah, he's a Montrealer and he's born here. He's going to come visit, but there's no way he takes that job. I'm sorry. That's my
I
personal
don't know
opinion.
about that.
I'm telling you he's not taking the job.
If he goes based on like,
I think
okay, I want to be
him-
respected, I want to get a legitimate
not
job,
gonna
and I want to be GM. What
Yeah.
what do you think he's
Not in
assistant
Montreal.
GM? right now?
He's
Just to
assistant
be assistant GM for the rest of his life, just to be part of an organization?
but
No, because he wants
bro,
to be a general
you don't
manager
go from-
eventually.
No offense, bro, but you don't go from Florida to Montreal. And the thing, Roberto
Well, why
Luongo.
you could go from Chicago to Montreal?
No, but the point that I'm trying to make is that Roberto Luongo was never the type of guy to be a media guy. He never liked talking to the media. He was never a fan of that. He was never interested in all of that. And do you really think that he would want to deal with the Montreal media? You know how hard the fucking Montreal media is, bro?
Listen, when you're getting paid a lot of money, anything is possible.
It's not happening. Roberto Luongo was not. Get out of your head. It's not
I think
happening.
I
Danny-
honestly, genuinely think that he has a
I
great chance of
genuinely
becoming,
think,
and it
I
would be the best
genuinely
move.
think, and I know you guys are gonna disagree with me. I think it's be Martin Brodeur.
I don't
He was
think
with
so.
he was with
Oh,
he was
boy.
a part of the New Jersey
Dude,
Devils
when was the last-
organization and St. Louis Blues in part of the management.
Honestly, I don't think so. I would see more Roberto Luongo. It would make more sense for Roberto Luongo. He's already
After Guam,
GM of
forget it.
Canada.
To me, it's very clear. It's either Danny Briere, Mathew Darche, or Martin Madden Jr. Those are the three.
I don't
And
want
that's
that
it.
guy. That guy's a fugly guy.
And I don't even think. And I don't even.
That's-
And I don't even
that's-
think it's
that's
gonna.
what they
And,
look at.
and
the
I don't even think.
fugliness.
And I don't even think it's gonna be Martin Madden Jr.
I
because
really
I don't.
hope not. He reminds me of Pierre Gauthier, to be honest.
I don't think
I
it's
get
gonna
those
be
weird
him.
vibes.
I think it's gonna be either Mathew Darche or Danny
Honestly,
Briere.
who
you
Danny
need someone
Briere-
young. You need
Danny
someone young
Briere.
and fresh.
Danny Briere is for me my ideal candidate. You guys don't agree with me, that's fine. But I've seen enough from Danny Briere over the last 6 years since he retired in the NHL to tell me that if he came into Montreal and worked under Jeff Gordon, I think him and Jeff Gordon would be a really good team.
Look, his
together.
pick's Roberto Luongo.
I think Roberto
My pick is
Luongo
Martin
and-
Brodeur. Yours is Daniel Briere. But when I close my eyes and I think about like
Brodeur
the
is the-
realistic situation,
no offense.
I think it's gonna be Mathew Darche.
No offense.
Yeah, I do.
Martin-
honestly,
I think it's gonna be
Martin,
Mathew Darche.
no offense.
When I
no
close
offense.
my eyes and I just think about a name, it's
McGill
him.
boy from Montreal.
No offense, bro. Martin Brodeur and Roberto Luongo, in my opinion, are the two most out of reach.
No,
possible.
I don't think they're out of
Yeah,
reach.
Out of reach.
I don't think
Out
so.
of reach. What? Okay, my question is this. Okay, Martin Brodeur. Yes, he was born in Montreal.
Well, honestly, I don't. I think Martin Brodeur wouldn't even be one of the guys.
Okay, Roberto Luongo, bro. Roberto Luongo
He makes
has
more sense.
no. He doesn't.
He does.
He's not gonna leave Florida. It's not gonna happen.
Well, that's
Bro,
not
his
true,
wife.
dude.
His wife. Legit
not
is
true.
born there.
Listen, if I'm Roberto, okay, no, not if I'm Roberto Luongo. Let's
If
say
you're anybody. You
let's
would
say
take
they
the job.
ask me. Let's say I'm with the Anaheim. No, not the Anaheim Ducks. I would probably stay there. Let's think. Let's say I was with the Boston Bruins.
Doesn't matter.
No, not Boston. What's a good place to live? Vegas. Let's say I was the assistant GM in Vegas. I'm from Montreal, and they're asking me to be a GM for more money and to be more reputable. Why the hell would I not take
Because
it?
just as much as you get the reputation and the money, you also get the media,
stress.
You also get the stress.
The stress, no matter where you GM.
Yeah, fine. Okay.
More
Yeah,
responsibility.
in Montreal, bro. In Montreal, you have to do it.
The
in
stress
two,
level is higher. Yes, I agree. But the pay
you
is
have
there.
to do it in 2 languages. Yeah, the pay, which you also have to pay 15% taxes. Where in Florida, the money, yes, you have to pay taxes, but it's nothing compared to Montreal. Number one. Number two, Roberto Luongo, yes, fine, he speaks 2 languages and he was born here. He hasn't been in Montreal full time since he was a teenager. So what makes you think that all of a sudden he's gonna
Okay,
come and be like,
guys.
you know what, I'm gonna take the job? It doesn't
Clearly,
make sense.
clearly, we're never gonna come up with a
It's
a
just
clear
no.
decision
I
who's
find
gonna
it's there's no
the
way
GM.
Roberto Luongo
Honestly,
will come.
the top 3, I think it's gonna be Mathew Darche, Luongo. Sadly, but yeah, that's honestly.
I don't know why you
I-
say
I-
sadly. You,
I
you-
agree
you
with
just,
that.
I really
that-
don't
that
like
top
him.
You're
three.
I
saying
don't.
Danny Briere. You're
It's-
saying Danny Briere, but you have no
I agree
idea
with that
what
top
you
three,
even.
but
You don't even know
Martin
what
Yes,
he's
Brodeur,
doing.
you could argue he's been helping out with the Flyers. Yes, okay,
Yeah.
but like, have they been doing anything crazy lately? No.
Okay, but that has nothing. It's you don't
Like
look
at least Marc Bergevin came from a 3-time Stanley Cup winning organization.
Not at the time. It was
no,
one time.
One time.
One time, whatever. Still,
Anyways,
it's the same
guys,
team. That,
as you can see, we have
Danny
no
Briere is
clear
my ideal
idea. We don't have a clear.
might as well get Alex Tanguay at this point. Remember that guy?
Oh my god.
What about Mike Komisarek?
Oh come on. This is just a joke.
Jose
Anyways,
Theodore.
let's wrap this up. Clearly, we haven't established as a panel who's going to be the clear choice to be general manager. That's really up to Jeff Gordon. But at the end of the day, he's here to establish a good system in place concerning development, drafting and a good coaching staff that's going to implement a system that players are going to buy into. And obviously, he's tasked with getting the next general manager of the Montreal Canadiens. So we want your opinion of: are you happy with Marc Bergevin being fired, along with Trevor Timmins and Paul Wilson? What's your favorite move during the Bergevin era, and your worst move during the Bergevin era? And are you excited with the Montreal Canadiens' decision to hire Jeff Gordon moving forward? And what are your choices to be a potential top candidate for the Montreal Canadiens general manager? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe to this video, and share it to any Montreal Canadiens fan or anyone that loves the and the NHL. So thank you so much, guys, and until the next one.